Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, the Nerd Man, and today we're talking about the Cody crybabies. I'm going to go on a little rant about this, about how my boy The Rock had to slap the taste out of you Cody fans' mouths and remind you who the great one is. Okay, I know everyone's trying to paint Rock, and even I was a little bit displeased. I'll tell you this: I was a little bit displeased about how The Rock behaved during his tenure at DC, and I was kind of like maybe doubting him a little bit when it came back to wrestling. But no, this shows, and I'm gonna show point by point how this demonstrates that The Rock is one of the best, um, of the faces of the company that there's ever been. The most generous, the one who listens to the fans the most, and probably one of the most entertaining, if not the most entertaining one as well. Why
Facts.
everyone tries to hate on him is beyond me when it comes to wrestling. His career in wrestling is almost unimpeachable if you compare it to anybody else's. So that's
Facts.
my opening.
And here's my thing, right? Because, like you said, I know even you, like, oh, hierarchy of DC. So I think a lot of people are taking that and saying, oh, well, now that he's the boss, he's just throwing himself in here in the main event. You know what I mean? And these are people who are speculating. So when I bring up, and we'll do it when we do it on my show, I want to show you couple of insiders, right, who are not in WWE but still follow it, like Eric Bischoff. They pretty much were saying, well, no, they don't think The Rock is throwing his power around, and they understand why he's doing it. But sure enough, people are like, oh, it's just his opinion. He has no idea what he's talking about. But I'm like, he's been in locker rooms, in WWE locker rooms. He knows The Rock. So you think
Yeah,
he would just say that shit out of his ass if The Rock was really that type of person? You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like it's
Oh,
just
by the way,
dumb.
I'm so 1610 man. I'm so happy about that. It's like it's all come round. It has all come round, and now The Rock, the tribal chief, is sitting at the head of the table.
Fact.
Over that bitch Triple H. And people go on like Triple H is some kind of hero now, like with his recent booking. If Triple H was the half the man they say he is, I'm sorry, Cody Rhodes wouldn't even be in the championship picture. He has got no business. I'm gonna be real. He's got no business being in the champion. He's not a good talker, right? He's maybe an
Mm.
okay wrestler. The only thing he's got is his dad. That's the only thing, and he ain't got nothing on his dad. You can't. Cody Rhodes is not, half a quarter as entertaining as his dad was. Like
I
when it comes
agree.
to mic work, when it comes to
I agree.
feuds, setting up feuds, everything. He ain't got the charisma like that.
I agree. You see, the problem is though, he got momentum on his side right now, right? People are behind him and shit ever since he left WWE and then went to AEW. Then he came back and he's just been pretty much blowing up. So I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what I
But
mean?
it's all
But here's the
booking, bro.
thing, huh?
You know what a wrestler. This is what how I distinguish wrestlers, right? There are wrestlers who are all booking, right? So for me, I'm sorry, Roman Reigns. I don't see Roman Reigns and Rock as a dream match. Not to me, bro. I don't
I
see
got
that as a
you.
dream match at all because Roman Reigns ain't nothing in comparison to The Rock. Period.
I agree.
He
I
ain't
agree.
got nothing on The Rock. He
Yeah,
is
yeah, I agree.
purely booking. Like he's got a little bit of talent. He's got a little bit of swag, that kind of thing. I'm not like hating on the guy completely. He's got a little bit of swag. I like what he did in the Shield. I do think he's fine as champion, but when you have to have a championship for 3 years just to be a star,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
tells you something. If you need that belt to be a star, that tells me something about you. Because the greats, they didn't need the belt. The belt needed them.
I don't know if he needs the belt. I just think they kept it on him way too long. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying. Look, here's my point. If you're if you're fantastic on the mic, you're good in the ring. You've got that X factor about you.
Yeah, I agree
You
with
don't
you.
need a belt to be a big star. Look at Rowdy Piper. Look at like Bret Hart didn't need the belt necessarily all the time. Stone Cold Steve Austin could go 6 months without the belt and he'd still be as over as he was with the belt. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I think unfortunately, as soon as Roman Reigns loses the belt, he loses his gimmick. His gimmick is having the belt. That's the
Um,
problem. Like JBL, his gimmick was having the belt. It wasn't, he didn't have a gimmick that could independently draw heat outside of him having that fucking strap. That's how I see Roman Reigns at the moment. He could get a new gimmick afterwards, but this gimmick of the tribal chief relies heavily on him having the belt. And Cody Rhodes' gimmick at the moment relies heavy on him chasing the belt.
the family, yeah, yeah.
They Once he has the belt, what are you going to do with him? Same with Daniel Bryan.
So
These
here's the
kind of
thing
guys.
that
Hmm.
here's the thing that I'm saying, because with the WrestleMania coming up, right? Then what do you do? Do you give Rock the belt? Because I don't think they're gonna give Rock the belt, right? So you give it to Cody and finish his story, and like you see, it's. I think what they're gonna do with the WrestleMania is, I think there may be either a triple threat match, or since it's on 2 nights, you might have a Rock Roman Reigns. Well, because Rock took his side now, so it's weird. I have no idea what they're gonna do, and it's gonna be interesting for WrestleMania.
Well, the Rock Roman Reigns feud is like it can't work now because yeah, he's
What
taking his side.
happened?
Where's the heat? Where's the heat? Who are you
Yeah,
going to be cheering for? You can't. I think the Rock did business. He acted like a professional. He saw. All right, look, he made a mistake, right? In doing this stupid thing of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna come and like, because we know the Royal Rumble winner is supposed to be in the main event, right?
hmm
Now, I think they made a mistake even having Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. As much as I'm a CM Punk hater, and I know he's injured at the moment, but I don't really, uh, the fanfare for CM Punk is like, I don't get it. But he's way better than Cody Rhodes when it comes to building up, a feud, like his mic work, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I could see CM Punk in that position much more than I can see Cody Rhodes. Not that I watch this trash anymore, but from from the little that I see, because I'm an Attitude Era guy, like
Yeah, me
or
too.
even Rock and Wrestling era, or WCW, ECW, kind of that's my jam. Like I don't see anything nowadays that even matches up to that. Like I see guys who were, like Mr. Perfect. If you put him Mr. Perfect in wrestling now, he should be the top guy. He's better than Roman Reigns. He's better than Cody Rhodes. He's better than all of these guys. You know what I mean? Like I don't see that great megastar power outside of like people like gone. I'll tell you who I see as like some good guys recently, but uh,
Shifty, Shifty. This isn't the one that I was planning on doing. We're still gonna do that one tomorrow. But yeah, I know Nerdman's weird like that. He'll just, hey man, I'm doing the stream, and then boom, next thing you know, what, let's stream 2 o'clock in the morning. But you see, I what you're saying about Mr. Perfect is, yeah, you might be right, but will he get over with the fans? You see, that's what it's not. It's not about like who you think or who is the best wrestler. It's about who gets over with the fans, who's the most popular, right? Many times we've had wrestlers in the top tier that like weren't good. You know what I'm saying? So
like
I
who?
mean, would he um John Cena?
Yeah, but John Cena was all booking. That's my problem. He needed that belt.
No, he
He
didn't. No, he
needed
didn't.
he needed things extra
No, he didn't need the belt
things
because
to be able.
there were times where he did not have the belt and he was still popping, right? Because remember,
No, no, no. He
Rock,
was popular with the kids, but he wasn't a popular. He wasn't an overall popular babyface. That's the
yes, he
problem with John
was.
Cena.
Yes, he
No, he
was. He
wasn't.
was.
They,
Yes, he was.
half the crowd were booing him all the time. Come on, bro. Don't let's not
Yes, he
rewrite
was.
history. It
First
was
off, I'm not
recently.
rewriting history. John Cena was the top guy in WWE for years, not just because
John
booking.
Cena
Yes, that's what I said.
in WCW. What are you talking
I mean
about?
WWE. Sorry, he was the top guy in WWE for years, not because of booking, because he was popular. Once he started that thugonomics shit, he blew up, bro.
Oh no,
John,
no. I think during the Thugonomics thing, yeah, he was actually over organically. It was that wasn't an an inorganic thing. But the problem is with that gimmick is it had a shelf life. You couldn't come out rapping for like 5 years straight, like doing shitty raps 5 years straight before people got bored of it. So as soon as he had to just be him and have his personality be the main, thing, I don't think his popularity was organic. I think the gimmick itself, I mean, you could put that gimmick on anybody who is a roughly speaking okay, can spit bars okay, and they would have been able to do that.
I doubt it.
Because you're spitting bars. You're spitting bars. Dude, even these
I
guys,
doubt it.
what's it called? There's guys in AEW who are doing this rap gimmick now. I think they do it better than John Cena.
Maybe they do, but that's not the
And
thing,
they're
though.
over as shit.
But yeah, but AEW could be over. That don't mean nothing. It's nothing compared to WWE because a lot of these AEW guys will go over to WWE and they don't do shit. You know what I'm saying? So you could be over in AEW, but doesn't mean anything when you go over to
I
the
just don't.
WWE.
I think if you're over, half the crowd shouldn't be booing you. If you're over properly, like the over the way Stone Cold was, over the way Macho Man Randy Savage was. Macho Man Randy Savage could control whether you booed him or whether you cheered him. That's a wrestler. Ric Flair could control whether you booed him or whether you cheered him completely. If he wanted you to boo him, he'd get you to boo him. If he wanted you to cheer him, he'd get you to cheer him. That's over because of the personality, because of the person you are.
But
I'll
again,
even give Hulk Hogan that. I'll even give Hulk Hogan that
that's
to a
not
degree.
necessarily true because Rock, when he fought Hogan, right, at WrestleMania, Rock was the good guy. And he was getting booed.
Yeah, and he played into it, didn't
No,
he?
he
And then
didn't.
he got over again. Yeah, he did.
No, he
If you
didn't. No,
watch
he
that
didn't play.
WrestleMania match, he started doing heel tactics during the WrestleMania match when he saw everyone was cheering Hulk Hogan. He started using heel
No, he did.
tactics
No, he
and
didn't
playing
because at the
into
end
the
of
fact
the
that he
no,
that
he,
they
no,
were
he,
booing him.
no, he didn't because at the end of the match he shook Hulk Hogan's hand, so he wasn't playing into the heel stuff.
Sure, sure. But if you watch it carefully, just watch it. Everyone even says it. There's people who watch the match and say, like, look, that's how good The Rock was. That even when he saw that, the tide was turning against him, he started
No, they say The
like,
Rock was good because he carried Hulk Hogan in that match. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
he also he
Even Hulk
carried him.
Hogan
Yeah.
will tell you when he talks about that match, he says Rock carried him in that match.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. The Cena era from 2006, like 2012, was the absolute worst period in wrestling outside of 1995. He was the top guy, but you can invite Shifty on, by the way. But they kept him atop the roster for way too long. They did that though because he was reliable in a time when Eddie died, Benoit was nuts, Brock left, Angle left, etc. Yeah, absolutely true. The thing about John Cena was he's reliable. They knew he wasn't going to go off and just make movies real quick. It took him ages to get in the movie industry, as opposed to The Rock, where it was like almost in his what second year of um, doing this rock shtick. As soon as that rock shtick hit, it became like a phenomena. You know, like same with Stone
Right.
Cold. Stone Cold just happened to not be as good an actor, but
But
like
here's the thing:
Hollywood
if
was calling on Stone Cold as well within like two
even though
years.
that Yeah, but even though they kept John Cena up there, they kept him up there because he was popular. If they're not going to keep a guy in the top echelons of the WWE
Dude,
as a champion if he's not popular, they're not going to do it.
you're not listening to
Bret
what
Hart,
we're saying.
hold on. Bret Hart's run didn't last as long because he wasn't doing well with the crowd, right? That's
Are
why
you
Vince
kidding
kept trying.
me? Are
No,
you
I'm telling
kidding
you,
me?
that's why Vince kept
Wait, wait,
wanting to
wait, wait,
take
wait,
the
wait, wait,
title from him.
wait. You're now you're completely rewriting history. Bret Hart
No,
was
I'm not,
over as
bro.
shit. Bret
No,
Hart
he
was so
wasn't.
over, and
No, he
Hulk Hogan kept
wasn't.
politicking. Hulk
No,
Hogan kept
yes,
politicking to
yes,
bring him
Hulk
down,
Hogan did.
and
Yes, hold on.
then
Hulk Hogan did, yes. But what I'm
I hate
trying to
when you
tell
do
you,
this.
is that, and I watched the fucking backstory stuff, right? Bret Hart wasn't the one that was carrying the company. That's why they gave it to Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels was over Bret Hart. I'm telling you.
Shawn Michaels was never more over than Bret
Yes,
Hart.
he was, bro.
No,
I'm
he was
telling
not.
you.
No, he was not. That's why they
Oh
had
my
to give it
God.
to
Are you
Stone Cold. That's why they had to give it to Stone Cold, bro. He was never as over as Bret Hart. But if anything, I'd say there were
what are
maybe.
you
Uh,
talking about,
they
Stone
can
Cold?
I finish? Let me finish because
Uh-huh.
you remember what I said about like like shouting over people at the moment. I can't do that. At
Yeah,
another
go
time,
ahead.
I would. Yeah. So uh, Shawn Michaels, right, they tried to artificially put him up there. I'm not saying he didn't have the talent to be up there. I think he should have been up there. He was really great, but they tried to artificially put him up there. And in fact, it was Bret Hart who was over pretty much all the way through until he faced Stone Cold. And then when he faced Stone Cold, then people were like, "Oh no, Stone Cold's cooler." And guess what? Bret Hart did. Bret Hart did business. He was like, "Okay, I'll be a heel." That's what you do. John Cena had
Okay.
forced
So
himself as a
you
babyface when he was
first
not over as a babyface. He was
first
more
off,
over as a heel.
you were absolutely wrong because the time that Bret Hart and Stone Cold had that wrestling, Bret Hart's heel turn was in that match. That match that they had, Bret Hart was
They
getting the
planned
shit.
that.
Oh,
They
right. But what I'm
planned
trying, but
that.
listen to what I'm saying. But listen to what I'm saying before you say anything, there, man. Yes, they planned it, but he went into that match as the good guy. The only when he turned heel was when he put Bret Hart, Stone Cold, in the fucking sharpshooter and wouldn't let him go. That was when he started getting the boos. The reason why they
Oh
did
no
that,
no 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 no!
yes,
He
it
was
is, bro.
already.
I'm
It was
telling
already.
you.
Stone
It,
Cold was
No,
already
it
getting cheered.
wasn't.
Stone
No, it
Cold
well,
was
wasn't.
already
here,
getting cheered, bro.
Go ahead,
well,
Shifty.
Shifty,
Brett. Well, see,
Shifty. Can I
Brett
put your
had.
mic down because that's really loud, bro? Sorry, but
Okay,
carry on. Carry on.
is it okay now?
Yeah, you're good.
No, I think you have to put the volume down
Is it
yourself. I
him? Does
can't
it
do it.
sound
It's
sound
really
All
like
right.
him?
loud.
Go ahead.
Sorry, man. I don't mean to. You can try and speak. Let me see how it sounds.
Hello, hello, hello.
You
It's
sound
still a
pretty
little
clear.
loud. It's still a little
All right.
loud. It's just because my girl is in the other room, and I'm gonna end up. You know, when you have your mic on, when you have your headphones on,
Yeah.
and something's loud, you start speaking loud by accident. But anyway, carry on, carry on. Tell me what you're gonna say.
Okay. If I'm too loud, just tell me. Okay. 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 I'll mess. I'll
Yeah,
mess with.
Yeah,
Go
if you
ahead.
could turn it down a little bit, but like speak first, and then we'll
Okay.
figure that out after.
All right. Just go ahead, and I'll mess with the settings.
No,
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 you
no, no.
sound fine. Go
Speak.
ahead.
Tell,
Go ahead.
say what you're gonna say.
Okay. We was talking about who Brett.
Oh, we
Okay.
were
Back
talking
then.
about Brett. If he was,
Okay.
if he was,
Yeah. Back then, Brett was losing some fans before that match. Because Stone Cold. It was a different era. We was moving to a different era, and they were more for the anti-hero. So he was losing some fans. The Canadian fans and the people outside the United States still love Brett, but in the U.S. he was losing his fans. So they thought, let's try to take him in a new direction during that match, and that's when they did the double turn where he turned heel and Stone Cold turned, little
exactly,
Right, but that's what I'm
exactly,
saying.
bro.
Bret Hart was. That's what I'm saying. Bret Hart wasn't carrying the company. He wasn't over as you think he was. That's why they had to switch it to Stone Cold
No,
because
no,
he
no,
was
no, no,
losing
no.
his
Wait a second.
momentum.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Bret Hart wasn't the face of the company by then.
Yes, he was.
No, it
Yes,
was
he
not.
was.
He
He
was
was.
not the
Yes, he
face of the
was.
company at
Yes, he
that point.
was. Yes,
It was
he was.
more.
He
It
was
was
the.
more. It was more even Shawn Michaels at
No,
that
it
point.
wasn't. It was Bret
Yeah,
Hart.
it
Bret Hart
was.
was the one they were giving the company to. What are you talking about? All
Oh,
of
no,
this
no, no,
is
no, no.
all of Nerdman. All of this is what caused Bret Hart's downfall in WWE. This is how it all started from this moment because he was losing his fans, and then after that match, he started going with Canadians and dissing Americans. What are you telling me, Shifty? Am I wrong?
Oh, I was messing with my mic. I didn't catch that
Oh,
last part.
Yeah, yeah. Just turn it lower, man. Like, sorry, just put it. It's not. How would I put it? Uh,
you
you're
can't do it
loud.
from your settings, Nerdman.
I can't do it. I don't know why it won't let me do it. It usually does let me adjust the mic, but it won't let me adjust his mic. So just turn it down to so it's like a quarter up. Right now
Okay.
it's halfway up, as far as I can see.
All right.
Sorry, I'll just address quickly what you're saying. At that point in time, the first person after Hulk Hogan that they chose to be face of the company, or they wanted to run with as face of the company, was Bret Hart. Okay,
Mhm.
now Bret Hart was actually over, but the rest of the whole roster was getting really really silly, like clown, all of these different weird gimmicks that McMahon had come up with. Some of them worked, like Razor Ramon, like other characters like that, but for broadly speaking a lot of it was trash.
That's
Same
when
with
Doink
Shawn,
and all those clowns
same
came
with
out.
say,
Hey,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Same with
mm,
Shawn Michaels. So it wasn't that so much that Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart weren't like over with the crowd. It was that everything else around them was so silly that people started turning away from WWE and going to more like ECW or WCW, which was taking things a little bit more
ECW
seriously
wasn't
at the
around
time.
yet, bro.
And it was, well, later it was. And I'm saying that
No,
they
ECW
basically
started
diluted.
after WWE. What are you talking about?
Sorry.
ECW started after WCW went off.
No, no, ECW was there before
No, it
WCW.
wasn't. It's just Jarrett that them. Oh no, it's TNT. I'm
Oh,
thinking about. Sorry,
you're
I'm
thinking
thinking
of
of TNT.
TNT, yeah,
TNT. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm thinking TNT.
So ECW, was Attitude Era before the Attitude Era came out. So like, although that wasn't as big as WCW or WWE, it was still like some fans were moving over to that because they thought it was more serious, as I said, right? So Bret Hart really, like he was over, but he wasn't but he was in a bad time for wrestling in general. Plus there was also the scandal about the what's it called, the steroid scandal as well, right while he was becoming face of the company. So in a sense, him and Shawn Michaels didn't really have a good chance to be the kind of biggest names in the company. That being said, I still don't think they would have been as big as Stone Cold or Hulk Hogan, simply because they didn't have as the mic skills. I always come back to this. If you're going to be the face of the company, you need fucking mic skills. And that's one thing I'll give John Cena. At least he could chat on the mic, you know? So I think if you're going to be a successful face of the company, you really have to be a mic worker. You have to be a good worker as well, but I think you have to be a mic worker almost primarily. So that's another reason I think Bret Hart, it was harder to get behind him than someone like Hulk Hogan or Macho Man Randy Savage.
Right. So what I'm saying though is either or. Vince did not have faith in Bret Hart leading the company, and the reason why
No, he
is
didn't.
because he was losing his fans, because he
Oh,
wasn't the one. I'm
that's
telling you, bro.
again, that didn't happen until Stone Cold
Yes.
Steve Austin. Until
No.
Stone Cold Steve
Happened.
Austin came around, he was not losing fans. He was internationally loved. Dude, they loved fucking Bret Hart. Even beyond, even to the point that even when Stone Cold became like basically was making his rise to become the face of the company, people still loved Bret Hart internationally. When he went to India, all of these different places, he was a superstar. Plus,
In
in the states, people liked him at first. Shifty, please
he
come.
was losing. He was losing his states. That's why he started to go to the Canadian side.
Do you remember when him and Luger both won the Royal Rumble at the same time? Because Vince McMahon didn't have faith in Bret Hart, and what happened? The crowd was cheering Bret Hart over the
Yeah,
But that's
American
against.
fucking
But that's
hero.
but that's against Lex Luger. Who cares? Lex Luger was never over in WWE.
yeah,
Lex Luger was
like
Yeah,
never over in
Lex,
WWE.
Lex was Lex was Lex with the Lex
No, he
Express and going
wasn't.
all over the
no,
states. Yeah, like it.
no, I,
Lex Luger
I,
was never over. Go ahead, Shifty.
I can I can tell you in the states, he wasn't over. Maybe
I'm
outside the
telling you,
states, but
he
Razor
wasn't.
Ramon Razor Ramon was more over, and he was a bad guy at the time. We
Do you
all
Facts.
us
mean
kids,
that? Do you mean than Lex Luger or than Bret Hart?
yeah, during 1993, before Razor actually turned face, he was still a heel in early '93, and us kids in school, he was like, "Man, Razor's way cooler than Lex Luger and stuff." When they were, I mean,
Oh yeah,
they
no,
just,
no. I mean, look, Lex Luger was a heel at first, right? And
yeah,
then
yeah. But I'm saying,
he body slammed Yokozuna. He had a
it,
little bit of momentum. He had a little bit of
even,
momentum with that. I'm not
yeah,
saying
but
he was over for a long period of time, but for a little bit he was over. But then when they
well,
put him against Bret Hart, and it was like who's your, who do you like more? Bret Hart was
no,
getting all the cheers.
Of
well,
Am
course,
I
yeah,
right
but
or
of
wrong about
course,
that?
over Lex Luger though. Go ahead,
see,
Shifty.
Why are you saying of course?
even
Because it's
as a
over Lex
kid,
Luger.
we all felt and saw that the WWE was really pushing Luger hard as the next Hulk Hogan because
Hmm.
we kind of found out about the steroid trial and Hulk Hogan was he had just left the company, so they needed an American hero to replace it. But
Hmm.
Right.
we
Or they
they
wanted
had
an American hero
they
to
had
replace
third
him.
party wrestling magazines back then that told behind the scenes news and stories and stuff. And we knew that
Exactly.
Brett was supposed to get a match with Hogan at SummerSlam, but Hogan didn't want
Yep.
to do it. So we
Yep.
were
Right.
all like, well, Brett got screwed. I mean, he should have got the belt back. He didn't get it back until, a chance at it until WrestleMania the next year. So we it's kind of like the Cody Rhodes situation in a way. We're sitting there like it should be Brett. It should be Brett. But no, they
Yeah,
want to
but the
push.
only difference is Brett has more natural charisma and was better
Yeah,
in the ring and everything than Cody Rhodes. I mean, Cody Rhodes just doesn't got it like Bret Hart. I'm sorry. Bret Hart had
yeah, but
swag. He couldn't talk on the mic necessarily, but he had fucking swag. He even had a cool voice. It's just, like like a wrestler voice. Like he just
but
didn't have. Mhm.
Brett got screwed at WrestleMania 9, and that was the whole thing was to set up Hogan versus Brett. That didn't happen.
Right.
Brett says that he was supposed to have a match with Savage after that, and he was supposed to put Brett over further. That didn't happen. So Vince was just sidetracked with trying to get Luger to be the next Hulk Hogan, and the fans weren't buying it. Now,
Yeah,
when they
yeah, exactly.
did kind of get behind him, what they do? SummerSlam '93, they should have gave him the belt there with Yokozuna. Instead, he wins by a countout. What does he do after the match? He celebrates. He celebrates with the Steiner brothers and Tatanka and Randy Savage in the middle of the ring like an idiot, and he didn't win the title. He just won on a countout. That at that point
Yeah,
he was
Lex
gone.
Luger. When he did that, that was stupid, and then nobody like that. But I'm saying before then, he was a little bit over. I'm not saying he was majorly over. I'm just saying he was a little bit over.
I don't think so because when
I'm
I
not. He wasn't
remember,
as over. He wasn't as over as Razor Ramon. You're right. I'm not saying he was over as Razor Ramon. I'm saying, people were accepting him. It wasn't until they put him face against, people like Bret Hart, and they were like, of course we're gonna pick Bret Hart over this fucking,
Yeah.
Guy. So we should go back to the topic though, which is, do you think, like, going back to the whole beginning of all of this, do you think The Rock was in the wrong for even suggesting the match? And how do you think how do you feel like in terms of how he's dealt with it?
I'll let
Shifty.
Shifty go first.
Well, I think about 97% of what we're hearing from these websites and news sites, I think it's just clickbait stuff. They don't know. They don't know
Facts.
what's going on behind the scenes. This is like 10 years back when they claimed that Daniel Bryan, the fans got him to the WrestleMania spot. I think they don't know anything about that either. I think all that was planned. I think some of this is, I mean, Rock had already said that, they were trying to get Rock and Reigns going for the last 2 or 3 years.
Facts.
And Bloodline story's been going for 4 years now. So I don't think he really came in to take Cody's spot. I think at some point going into this and I think they
No, you
still
can't
really
tell me that. I'm sorry. I'm
no,
sorry. Like,
let
yeah,
me
yeah,
finish.
go
Hold
on.
on, let him finish.
Yeah,
Let him finish.
I think
finish. But I'm just saying that I think this is wrong. But go on.
no, they've been going 4 years with the Bloodline storyline. The whole time they've
Hmm.
been saying, "Hey, he's getting this close to Hogan, passing Hogan in the title picture, right?" And he's going to do that in September. I think either way, whoever he faced, Roman Reigns was going to walk out of WrestleMania with the belt. I think Rock was going
Facts.
to take the fall for Cody Rhodes when he was in
Hmm.
that originally in that match for Rock versus Reigns. I think he was going to lose. I still think Cody might lose. I don't know, but I think there is
But
people
then
in the WWE.
why make Cody win the Royal Rumble?
Well, this is the
It was
thing here.
clear. Look,
Punk.
The
Hold
McMahon
on, let him
stuff
finish,
during that.
man.
I
Okay,
think
all right,
Punk.
I'm
I
just
think
having a conversation. Go
Yeah,
I
let
think
him finish though.
I
Don't
think
hear what he
CM
said.
Punk was probably in the Royal Rumble. He got injured. There's a shot of him talking to the referee. I think plans changed before the end of the match, and Punk said, "We got to let Cody win because I'm hurt." Because he knew, because he had the same injury in AEW just like a year ago, and he knew that it's going to take like 8 months to a year to get back into the game. So he probably got hurt, and he said, "We got to let Cody win," and that's what screwed things up, and that's why
Okay,
they had that.
but the point is, even if that's the case, when Cody won, right,
Yeah,
they knew, right, that if you win the Royal Rumble, then you are in the main event of WrestleMania. Period. Right. So
but if
and they know that the whole story with Cody had been leading to him facing Roman Reigns. He'd already beat the other guy, whatever that guy's name is.
Seth Rollins,
I can't remember, Seth Rollins or whatever. Right? He'd
but
already beaten Seth Rollins. So
that,
let me finish. Let me finish now. Let me finish. So immediately, even if Rock was planned to face a Roman Reigns and lose to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, they had to switch it up
Yeah.
and just go with Cody versus Roman Reigns. It doesn't make any sense to have the Royal Rumble winner um, come in and say, "Oh, let's you can take my spot instead." It doesn't make any sense. It makes him look trash.
But this is what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Now,
It's a
my thing is, just to finish, my thing is, given that they made that mistake, which they always do in wrestling, how many other wrestlers who were in this position, especially being movie stars, right, would have had the balls to actually just go heel and fix the situation, apart from The
so
Rock.
So first off, I always believe again that this was always the plan. This is what I think. I think maybe it got adjusted a bit, but I think it's always the plan. They're doing WrestleMania on 2 nights, right? So
Yeah.
it's 2 nights this year. So
Yeah.
they're gonna have to have two main events. So I always believe that maybe Roman Reigns is gonna fight 2 nights. Maybe he's going to beat The
No,
Rock.
but that
Like,
makes Cody look bad.
why?
Because if he wins after Roman Reigns has already had a huge fight with The Rock and just barely come
No, I
out,
don't.
and he hasn't even had time to recover, what kind of victory is that for
But
Cody
who's?
rather?
I don't think they're giving it to Cody though.
Oh, so you
Well,
think he's just going to beat both of them on 2 nights
Yes,
consecutively, The Rock and
yes.
Cody? Wow,
I think he would.
that would that.
Or hold on. Here's a theory that they're saying is that maybe he fights Rock first, beats The Rock, but then when he gets to the match with Cody Reigns, right? He does some shit that they're saying that he does, like Roman Reigns does some shit that dishonors the family, that makes Rock have to go in there and check him, which probably would give the belt to Cody, and then you would have the feud between Rock and the Bloodline story for Tribal Chief.
That's too much flipping and turning to me. I mean, like if he does that, then that's like he can't go back now and The Rock go back now and try and pretend like, oh, I'm not on my family's side. Like he has to be on his. How can he dishonor his
No,
family? What
that's what
in
I'm
what
saying.
way
Not,
would he dishonor?
but I'm not saying he's on his family. He sees that Roman Reigns does something that dishonors the family, so he
No, I
checks
know,
Roman
but
Reigns. But now Rock is fighting to be the head of the
that's
family,
the baby
while
face.
Roman Reigns, yes, while Roman
That's the
Reigns is the
baby
bad
face.
guy.
So he's going to
Yes.
turn heel for just one match,
Well,
and then
first
go
off,
and then flip right
did
right back to
you see?
babyface again. That's not going
You
to
see,
work.
but here's the problem that I have with what, because people are saying he turned heel, but did he really turn heel? Right? Because he shook Roman Reigns' hand when he was talking about the match, and then Cody Reigns came out and talked about his family. So he was defending his family. Yes, he walked off with Roman Reigns, but did he really turn heel though? Completely heel? I don't think so.
I think he turned heel. I think he he
I,
he played into the fact that essentially the fans were against him. But go on, Shifty.
okay, what they should be doing is something different than what they probably will do. What they should be doing is having Roman walk out of WrestleMania with the belt, have him lose after September after he passes Hogan because they worked 4 years to that milestone. And then in Madison Square Garden, where Cody's story began decades ago, where they denied his father the championship at Madison Square Garden back in the like early '80s, late '70s. That's where he should finish his story. What I
But
think
wait a
they'll
second.
probably
Didn't Bruno San Martino
yeah,
was
it's Bruno at the top.
champion longer than Hogan?
Yeah, it's Bruno, then it's Bob Backlund, then it's Hulk Hogan. Roman's about to pass Hulk Hogan. He's not going to pass the other two because that's like
Okay.
6 and 7 year there. But
Yeah.
uh, what I think is probably going to happen is I think Rock's firmly in Roman's camp right now, and I think they're going to either have a tag match or something's going to go down the first night, and they may win, they may not. I don't know. The next night, I think Cody's going to come out and he's going to probably get the better of Roman, and it's going to be just like last year. They're going to have all the bloodline come out and get it, into the match. Rock's probably going to get involved. Somehow he's going to cost Roman the title, and that's where the breakdown is going to be. That's where Rock's going to go back good, and that's
And
where
then
it's going to.
okay,
It'll
but
set up a SummerSlam
again,
match.
I can't see you flip flopping straight from Rock becoming heel again, and in just one, like basically, when's WrestleMania? It's like a month away or something like that.
In
Just in
April.
1 month, and then he's gonna flip straight back to babyface. I think this heel run of Rock's is gonna go on for a little bit. I think he's gonna
Well,
align himself, I think, with the bloodline for a little bit. Or
well,
he's gonna align himself with the bloodline until Cody Rhodes wins, and then he's gonna dip out for a bit. I really don't
you know,
see it being like, because
he could.
they've spoiled the Roman Reigns Rock thing. You can't.
Yeah,
The only way it makes sense is for one Roman to be champion. He has to be champion when he faces the Rock.
mhm. Well,
In my
no,
opinion,
no,
I don't. So they're gonna fight for the head of the tribal chief, but what power does the tribal chief have without having the championship?
But you see, here's the thing, and I've watched like Eric Bischoff and these guys, and they're saying Rock doesn't need the championship though. You know what I
he
mean?
doesn't.
So they can still
No,
make that match without Rock having or Roman Reigns
I
being
don't.
champion. It's not
I
about the
don't think.
championship.
I don't think Rock needs the championship. I think Roman Reigns needs the championship for that
He
match to be
does.
compelling.
He
Otherwise,
does.
to be honest, what's apart from them being family, you know, what is the big pull or draw about Rock versus Roman Reigns? There's no what's the word? Not tension, but there's no when like we already know what's going to happen. If Roman Reigns doesn't have that championship, you won't feel any sense of what is the word, suspense, when Rock faces Roman Reigns, because we all know usually Rock would go over in that situation, right?
Yeah,
Remember when he
I
faced John Cena for the first time, Rock goes over. Whenever
but this
Rock
goes.
comes back to face, when he faced CM Punk, he goes over. So the only thing that would make it like, oh, they're not going to give Rock the championship again. So that's going to add to the suspense. Like, who really is going to win this match?
But this goes into the theory that Rock's going into this for himself, and I don't buy that. He's doing this for the
Neither do
business.
I. Absolutely.
He's doing it for Roman. He's doing this for Cody. He's doing this for his family. He's doing it for the company. He's trying to pull away from the all the allegations and
Yeah, no,
all the focus.
I absolutely agree. But I think that the reason he actually did this match was because he genuinely thought Roman versus Rock would be the bigger match, and it probably would be. To be in all fairness, Roman versus Rock is a bigger draw to mainstream people than Cody versus Roman Reigns. To the fans who watch every week for what God knows why, because it's been shit for so long. But to those fans who've been sticking with it, to them, of course, Cody versus Roman Reigns is what should happen. But the fact of the matter is, if you want more people to watch the actual WrestleMania, not just the people attending, but actually for it to get a good byline, in terms of people watching it, Rock versus Roman Reigns makes more sense. And it makes more
Of
sense
course,
because you want to take away from this whole McMahon scandal as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean, Rock's like probably the most popular entertainer on the face of the planet next to Taylor Swift. So he of course he's going to pull more eyes to the pay per view and drive subscriptions to Peacock. A lot of people don't even know who Cody Rhodes is. But
Hmm.
going back to what I was saying a while ago, if there's some sort of breakdown between Roman and Final Night WrestleMania, you could set up something like where Rock is still the heel and it turns Roman face because Rock is the corporate. He's on the board of directors. He could be like the new Mr. McMahon in a way. They could play
Yeah,
that
he
out.
could make. I think that's what they should do. I think they should bring back corporate Rock. Like you remember when he was a corporate Rock? They could do a
Yeah,
throwback to that, make him corporate Rock again. And honestly, this is what I would do. I know it's a little bit left field, but you know how LA Knight has been fighting against the Bloodline for ages. I would do LA Knight versus The Rock. I know
uh,
it's really left field, but I would do LA because I think The Rock could and him could have good promo battles, and it would make sense because LA Knight has been going against the Bloodline. If The Rock joins the Bloodline as the corporate kind of guy or whatever, then they could have LA Knight kind of interferes to help Cody Rhodes at some point, and then The Rock and him just go off in their own thing, and then The Rock can kind of start mocking him for being like a rip-off of himself, like he feels like he's looking in the mirror when he sees him, like taking the piss out of that. And LA Knight can hold his own on the mic, so I think he could do that, and then you just have Cody versus Roman. What do you think of that idea?
I I'm not a big fan of LA Knight for the reasons you just pointed out, but uh, that
But
they
that's
could do that.
exactly why I'm not saying I'm a big fan of LA Knight. I'm just saying at least you could see how The Rock would mock LA Knight, like just
Yeah. Oh, I
you're
mock. I
completely
mock.
ripping off my gimmick, like
Yeah, I
what's
mock
going?
him.
I don't want to see corporate Rock. I don't want to see that.
Why?
I really don't. I don't think they should go that way
No, but why don't you want to see it?
because McMahon was the corporation when they did that, right? And you don't want to bring any kind of reminder of that McMahon situation
That's
around.
true.
So you
That
Well,
is actually true. But you
you don't have
can't
to hold.
erase McMahon from the WWE. That's
But
Yeah,
impossible.
they're
Like,
yes, they can. Yes, they can. They did it to Chris Benoit. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's all of Stone Cold. The whole beginning of Stone Cold is done. If you erase McMahon from WWE, everything, the Attitude Era is fucking
Yeah, but
erased from history. You can't
well, yeah,
erase McMahon from the WWE, let alone what he was doing before. You
I
can't.
just
It's
they will.
impossible.
they're not going to reflect on it much
Yeah,
anymore.
Hmm?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to mention that shit no more. They're definitely going to try to, distance themselves because remember, this is a TKO company now. It's not owned by, any like Vince
Oh,
McMahon, like there's a
then
board.
you have.
It's T. So they're
Mhm.
going to do whatever they can to maybe not erase it, but never speak about that Vince McMahon stuff again.
But how can you not speak? It's like Hulk Hogan. You can't not speak about Hulk Hogan when it comes to wrestling. You can't not speak about it. It's not the same as uh, you know, um, Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit is like, okay, he was in some great stuff, admittedly, but it's much easier to kind of erase that guy. But you're talking
But
about
it's
somebody who was intimately involved in the attitude. McMahon was one
Yeah,
of the
but they
four
barely
biggest
talk about
stars.
the Attitude Era anyway, so it's not
Are
hard for
you
them to
kidding
just not
me?
talk
They don't
about
talk
it.
about the Attitude Era. Of course, they talk
Who,
about the Attitude Era,
who
bro.
does? Who does?
A lot of people talk about the Attitude
Who?
Era.
Yeah, us. I'm talking about when you're watching wrestling and stuff. They don't talk about the Attitude Era no more, right? Because we're talking about a PG product now compared to one that wasn't. So they
Well,
don't talk about
Um,
it really.
I think
I
they
think
they do callbacks to it,
they're
and
pushing the line with PG right now. The other
What's
night,
that?
I mean, they were cursing, and they're going to Netflix next year. So I think they're not going to go full bore back to the Attitude Era, but I think they're going to loosen things up just a little bit.
Oh yeah, me
And
too, 100%.
and just a couple weeks ago, after the Royal Rumble, Triple H was saying, they did a lot of good things in the Attitude Era, but he said a lot of it was crap. He
Hmm.
came out and said a lot of stuff they did back then was crap. So I think you're going to see less and less of that stuff in the future.
hmm A lot of the
What did
stuff
he say was crap? What was it? Does he mean his
He didn't.
part? Because that would be accurate. His
I
part
don't
in
think he,
Valvinus and the Godfather and shit and
He was just saying,
yeah,
the
you know,
Arsemen.
he was just
come on.
saying, look up to the Attitude Era, and he said, they did some good stuff back then, but a lot of it was crap, and that's exactly what he said.
But
They
that was
had
him.
Sable come out. They had Sable. No, it's not just him. They had Sable come out in a fucking potato sack, and then she ripped it off and was in a bra and fucking panties, bro. Like they're not gonna talk about those things because with this type of era, you can't.
Let me tell you
No,
something.
that's not true. That's not necessarily true. But I'll tell you
Yes, it is.
what they won't talk about. Like, oh, sorry, I'll tell you what was shit in the Attitude Era. It was Triple H and fucking Shawn Michaels and his crew of arse men running around showing their fucking asses on TV every week. Yeah,
So,
like
Oh,
so,
they
so
actually, you can't tell me
they were
like
entertaining though.
stuff
They were
stuff
funny
that
as
The
fuck.
Rock was. No, they were not. The stuff that The Rock and
Yes, they were.
Mankind and Kurt Angle and Stone Cold, the stuff they were doing was way better than anything that DX was doing.
I disagree. 100%. I disagree. Because DX was fire, and that's why they were where they were, because they were the D Generation X. Everybody loved them, but but do you remember what they did with fucking Mark Henry? Like, what are we talking about? It's not just DX. Do you remember what they
when
did with
when
Mark
he
Henry?
when he gave birth to a hand, yeah, it was so stupid. Yeah, like
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So
it
there
was-
was it was all over the board. They were having fucking women having wrestling matches in Jello and mud and shit.
yeah. Well, the Mark
no,
Henry
no,
thing, you're forgetting the time where he made out with a trans person in the bathroom, and it was on camera there, and then his mom was watching it, and they were getting on in the bathroom.
Oh
You,
shit, I don't
you
even remember
forget about
that.
that?
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
did
no,
forget
yeah.
about that.
yeah.
But
Mark.
anyway,
Then
Mark Henry was.
there was a
Mhm.
promo he did where he admitted to where he loved his sister or something. Yeah, they gave Mark some really terrible.
hmm
Yeah, no, I don't love the Attitude Era in the way I just love like a few characters that were all-time greats. If anything, I would say like I prefer in some ways the Rock and Wrestling era.
Yeah,
Like that to me was like just pure fun.
the
Jake
the
the Snake, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man. These guys who were just completely coked off their heads and like just doing some of the wildest shit, saying some of the wildest shit on the mic. I loved all that, but you can't deny that The Rock and Stone Cold alone make the Attitude Era just fucking great. Just,
yeah.
just those two. Let alone like when you bring in Kurt Angle, you bring in Mankind or Mick Foley, you bring in the Undertaker, you bring in what's my rock and roller, the Ayatollah of rock and roller, all of those guys.
Chris Chris
Yeah,
Jericho.
yeah, exactly. They were just doing like you know they uplifted the show from all of the shit that was on it.
Well, Chris will never be back in WWE after the stuff he's went through in the last year. So uh,
Yeah.
his allegations, but they're going to be way more selective of what they look back on
What
now. And
happened?
I
What
think,
allegations did Chris Jericho
oh,
have?
well, when AEW was first starting up, supposedly female wrestlers, uh, he had one of the higher ups send her to his hotel room, and she didn't know what was going on, and he was expecting something, and he paid her off. She left the company before the company started, and she went to WWE, and she sounded like an NDA, but somebody leaked the story out, and supposedly it did happen, and you know
Well,
he.
I never liked Chris Jericho anyway, so that
But
doesn't.
what I was saying is they're going to be way more like what they look back on now, and I think a lot of people that we may be fans of may be going away because uh, I don't know if you're you've been reading up on the Ash Massaro case. There's a Vice article that came out the other day. She was a wrestler back about 15 years ago. She committed suicide. She claims that she was
Hmm.
raped. We're on a tribute to the troops tour. WWE said it didn't happen. Now we're finding out
But by
that
who?
John Laurinaitis knew about it, and he said that she did report it. So the company might burn over some of this stuff that's coming out, and who
Oh,
knows? I mean,
really? Good.
you got that on top of going on, and they said that goes really deep. So we don't know what's going to happen in the next year. I just hope Triple H isn't involved in it, or Shane McMahon, or no telling what's
Good
going to happen.
riddance. Good riddance.
Well,
I don't like. I'm not. Look, I don't think Triple H was involved in it because I think he was keeping his nose tidy. Like he's not gonna fuck around on the boss's daughter, you know. Like,
yeah,
so I doubt he has anything to do with it. My only hope is like people like my favorites like Kurt Angle and The Rock had nothing to do with it. That's who I care about. Like in Stone
yeah, I don't
Cold
think
maybe,
it's around.
but but uh, you know. I always knew. I mean, was anybody surprised that McMahon has these allegations? I'm
No,
not at all. Like you
Yeah,
just
me
have to
either.
look at his sense of humor, you know, like the stuff that he
just
was putting on,
he's been covering up stuff.
screen.
We know he's been covering up stuff since the '80s. I mean, Jimmy Snuka killed his girlfriend supposedly,
Yeah,
and you watch that
Yeah,
the Dark Side of the Ring
yeah.
episode where they really went
yeah.
into it. They said he came in, he paid off the sheriff to like drop things, and and then they had all the Ring Boy sex scandals of the '80s where Pat Patterson took the fall for that. And then you had
Hmm.
Carmella, the original Carmella, not this one, who claimed that they were doing all sorts of nasty shit to her. So he's been doing you know dirty shit for decades.
Yeah,
Facts.
it doesn't surprise me really. I mean, I liked McMahon as a character for the most part, apart from when he was doing the kiss my ass stuff and all that crap. But like as a character, I always kind of liked McMahon, but I always thought that yeah, he was a shady dude. As I said, if WWE goes under, I wouldn't really give a fuck because I've thought that they were shady ever since what they did to Bret Hart, what they did to. I mean, and what they're saying they did to these women is even worse, you know. So I
I
just,
don't think they'll
I
go
just
under.
hope, I just hope. Well, they could do. I mean,
They just
if it depends how deep it goes, as you said, like how many stars were involved in this. I could see
yeah.
someone like Bully Ray, for instance, being totally involved in this kind of shit, and that would hurt me because I love the Dudley Boys and stuff like that. But like, I could totally see him being involved in crap like this, or you know, some other guys that are like, just if you can't, as I said, erasing McMahon from WWE is like erasing the WWE. To me, I can't see how you can do that. If you add a few more of the top guys to that, like who's going to be interested?
Well, we already lost Brock Lesnar, so
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Brock Lesnar's already gone, but Brock Lesnar you could get rid of. You know, he was big, but
yeah.
you know,
Well, he finished up his storyline with Cody anyway, where he kind of passed the torch with him last year. So, but that's a
yeah,
huge attraction you're losing right there. That's money. So
yeah.
Yeah.
But I have not.
Well, I don't like
I was a huge Brock fan when he was first in WWE, when he was having his feuds with Kurt Angle, with like Undertaker and that kind of stuff. But actually, when he came back with this whole Super Lex City bullshit, I just thought he'd lost it completely. So I never saw him as a. I didn't understand why he was a big attraction. He'd come into the ring and just do 90 superlexes on people and call it a day.
I never liked him, even when he
Hmm?
first came. I said I never liked him, even when he first
You
came
put
in.
your
I
volume
always,
up now. Sorry. Wait.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but your volume's way up now.
It's up.
Yeah,
I never touched my volume.
I don't know what's going on, and I can't turn it down. All right, don't worry,
I was just saying. Hold on. Let me see if I can turn it up.
because it's so high, it's distorting your voice. I can't even hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit lower.
Hold on. I don't know. It's your shit, bro. Because I didn't change nothing.
Maybe it's my shit, but
You hear me
it's
now?
distorting, and I can't hear you properly. But go on, I can hear you now.
Well, I was just saying I didn't really like Brock Lesnar even when he first came in, and I hated the fact that this guy just came in and they like put him at the top of the mountain right away. I don't like that.
Yeah, but I mean, at least for what I saw in the beginning when he first started, I didn't feel like it was all booking. I felt like he could do things that other people could not. He was straight up picking up, the big show, like over his shoulders. That's fucking crazy. Like his strength was just, and his speed, and then he had some technical skill as well. So I don't know why he went away from that wrestling style and then he just started doing just superlexes. But it was boring. Like that match he had with John Cena was the dumbest match I've ever seen in my life. If you
that
remember, yeah,
yeah,
go on.
that was supposed to be Daniel Bryan, but Daniel had got injured before then. They were going to toss Daniel Bryan around the ring for that match. Cena had to fill in for him.
Right. Do you know what match I'm talking about? I think it was the one where
Oh,
Cena finally lost or something, like after years of being on
oh,
top and not really
oh,
losing like clean.
I I thought you were
But
talking about the match they had after Daniel Bryan got hurt. They had another match, and Cena got like 31 suplex on him from Brock. It was crazy. That's where they
yeah.
originated Suplex City tagline.
Yeah, I think it was that one. It was whatever one he just started superplexing like and didn't do any. I don't think he did another move apart from a suplex.
Yeah,
Maybe a clothesline. You
that was
know,
like 2014, I think, SummerSlam maybe.
yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. I just was like, what kind of match is this? I mean, I think it may be the worst match I've ever seen.
I don't even remember it. Like I said,
Yeah,
every time I seen John Cena or Brock Lesnar in a match, I just checked out. Wasn't interested.
yeah, they were terrible. I don't, like as I said, John Cena, you're right, he was popular, but he was popular amongst one segment of the fans, the kids. And that
Well,
makes
the
sense.
females,
When
the
when I
females
was
too.
when I
Yeah,
was maybe the females as well, but like how many female fans are there of wrestling? I mean, but
a
like
lot.
when yes, relative. I'm talking relative. Obviously there are a lot, but relatively speaking, I mean, it's maybe 10 to 5% of the total fan base. It's not like
Pretty much.
50-50.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I completely got seduced by the booking, you know. So if someone was booked strong like Hulk Hogan, I'd be like on their side. I'd be like, oh yeah, Hulk Hogan's my guy, when actually when I thought about it, I was more entertained by other guys. I was more entertained by like Ric Flair or like,
But Hulk
you
Hogan,
know,
his
or
booking was never good though. Like anytime I seen Hulk Hogan in a match, I wanted him to lose.
I'm saying, but you were older than me. That's the thing. I grew up watching,
Yeah, you're
you
right.
know, him as like when I was like, 5, 6, 7 years old. It wasn't until maybe I was maybe 13, 14 years old when I started to actually appreciate the heels, and like the heels more and remember how invested I was because of what the heels were doing as opposed to, what Hulk Hogan was doing. So yeah, I think it's when you're a kid, you're really into the booking. So I can understand why kids like John Cena because he was winning all the time. you know, and he was painted as this big fucking hero who went to the hospitals to see kids, and you know, they would fantasize about John Cena coming to visit them, and you know, it's all of that stuff, you know, that you know, got the kids on his side. But I don't think he was organically over, because if you're organically over, to me as a baby face, then everyone should be cheering you, or at least 90% should be cheering you.
Yes.
That's why I say The Rock, you know, say what you want about him, you know, he knows when people are on his side, when people aren't feeling him, and he uses that. And that makes him even more popular, because what you start to realize, actually, I'm really entertained by this guy trying to piss me off. And then he gets popular again. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think he's going to play into the heel persona for a while, you know, piss the fans off until they realize they love him again, you know, because he's so good at pissing you off that you just can't help fucking, you know. To me, actually, I always preferred Rock as a heel. So I'm excited about this. I don't know about you.
Rock was a good heel, but
You preferred him as a babyface?
absolutely.
Yeah. I liked him as a babyface, but I thought he got a little bit stale sometimes. But like when he was heel, I never felt he was stale. I like there was the time, you remember at I think it was WrestleMania 19 or something like that, when Stone Cold and The Rock faced each other. I was hoping so much that The Rock was the one who was going to go heel during that match. And then, you know. Anyway, so should we call it a day? Is that enough? Do you have anything else specific you want to say? We can save the rest for your one. I'll do guys, I'm gonna do favorite DCEU moments on another day.
It's easy.
And
the Justice League with Superman, where he says where there's the two best moments is Wonder Woman, right? And No Man's Land, and Justice League with Superman.
Versus Superman, or with
Justice League when Steppenwolf hits him with the axe.
And he says not impressed. Yeah, that's a pretty good moment. That's a pretty good
Share
moment.
my screen real quick. This is some real wrestling we all should be watching.
What on earth is this?
She's in, you gotta wonder, can you continue? But just as he does, she moves to the top. Is she biting her? Oh my goodness! I think she bit the ear, which we've seen happen in Las Vegas.
Yes, we have. I thought it was a hair pull at first, but you're right. I think
she bit the ear.
She bit her.
Where's the honorable Mark Radner? And the fight's being waved off.
That is it.
And Sarah Wolf identified the bite. I think she's calling it off.
Wow.
I think, you know, she was walking over there right to the center of the ring.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Oh my goodness!
That one. That was pretty good. I've never seen a clothesline turned into a slam like that. But yeah, that's some wrestling y'all should be watching. It's better than WWE all day, every day.
Yeah, I wouldn't give a fuck if WWE went under, but I would prefer if The Rock took over from Triple H. That would be great. I would absolutely love that. If The Rock was doing the booking.
Why would you want WWE to go over though?
To go under, because they deserve it in the end, because of all the shit they basically got rid of all the territories, which were all better than the WWE. They unified all of that, and they fucked over WC.
We have like basically the territories back. There's like 15 promotions
exactly.
now. I mean, so I mean, you know,
wrestling is dead.
back.
Dude, let's just face it. Wrestling is dead. It
wrestling is
is
not dead.
absolutely dead, dude.
The
No, it's
company
not.
has they signed so many billion-dollar deals for their television rights. You got AEW is doing kind of okay. It's they've been down the last year, but then you got all these other promotions. You've got like
It's
12 other
not
promotions.
culturally significant at the moment. It's just something that
I
it's just like the opera now. You know,
okay,
obviously the opera is always going to be around. People are always going to because there's always going to be
it,
fans of the opera. So there's
it
always going to
is
be big operas around, but it's not culturally significant anymore.
dude, dude, you do realize that The Rock and Cody was like the biggest thing on Twitter last weekend. That's all I saw on my
Who
feed.
gives a fuck about Twitter? I'm talking about actual people talking about this stuff. Like it's locker room talk. Like when the Attitude Era was on, everyone was talking about that shit. Like you'd go into, fair enough. I was in school, so maybe that's why you'd hear about it. But I
Yeah.
work in schools now, and I don't hear anyone talking about fucking wrestling.
But,
No
look,
one's no, like it's not a big international phenomena. And can I just say one last
Yes,
thing?
it is. Mm-hmm.
No, one last thing. Theater,
mm,
opera. Let me think. What else has gone out of style, out of importance? Like that was really big before.
I think theater is still
Um,
around. It's just for some
no, I
people.
know theaters around. But it makes more money now than it made when it was super important. So making more money doesn't mean that you're more culturally significant. It just means there's been inflation. Like things are more expensive now, that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean that actually it has as much of a cultural significance as it once did. It's just like the cinema. Movies make more money now, but that doesn't mean that the movie industry is at its.
I'll just say it's in a better place now than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that. During the whole John Cena reign and all of that kind of stuff, in some ways, it would be interesting to see wrestling come back, but I think it's so stupid. To be honest, I kind. It's not I regret like watching it as a child, but it is kind of dumb. Like people fake fighting over, you know, and the only thing that made it entertaining for me when I was a kid and during the Attitude Era was the fact that they had such great personalities, like who were doing the matches. And without those great personalities, I just think what's the point? You need
But it's
people like Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt for me is, or Dean Ambrose or like these kind of characters that you need those kind of guys at the top,
Mm.
being otherwise it's just like some guys fighting, fake fighting. That's what it
yeah, but
feels like to me. Cody and Roman. It's just some two dudes that aren't particularly impressive in any way fighting, fake fighting.
yeah, but for us older fans, like the backstage drama and the politics of everything, it's just like the movie industry. That's what's interesting to us right now because, I mean, this whole stuff with The Rock, we don't know what's going on, and it's got us
Mm-hmm.
talking. It's got us talking at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Right. That's more interesting than the actual show. I'm not even
Yeah,
watching the show. And the only reason I'm talking about the show is because somebody from the Attitude Era came back and slapped the dude in the modern era. I'm not talking about it because I didn't even know Cody Rhodes was this big until very, very recently, like super recently. I may have found out at the Royal Rumble. I don't know why it was. Maybe it came up on my YouTube feed or something like that. But I had no idea that Cody Rhodes was some big, draw or something like that right now.
Mm. Never mind. I got one more thing to share with you before you go to bed. Share my screen.
Hmm.
This one you might actually like. Ready?
Go.
That's no moon. Initiate cloaking mode.
Oh, is this what's it called? The fights, movie fights, or something like that.
Not
He's
even.
gonna face.
It's not even movie fights. It's just. What is this?
I've located Superman.
Because he faces your what's your villain's name again? Darth Vader, right? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're a villain.
The villain.
Batman would rock fucking Darth Vader's world, bro.
Stop this shit.
What?
Stop this shit.
I knew you'd like that one.
Stop this shit.
You would, man. With enough prep time, you would.
No, he would not.
Oracle, I'm approaching Superman's location.
Wait. Where he can talk.
You've made a mistake coming here.
Release Superman. Why you still can.
You do not know the power of the dark side.
I'll take my science over your magic any day. Let's see how well you breathe now.
The Force will sustain me long enough.
Exactly. Better focused on you than me.
You underestimated me.
I underestimate nothing.
You cannot win. You wasted your opportunity to defeat me. Now, you will die.
Your theatrics will not help you. How's this for theatrics?
Your science did not defeat me.
It wasn't supposed to. Thanks, Bruce. I owe you. I know.
How is he breathing in space?
Because this is
On
stupid.
What's going on?
Hank,
This is what I mean about Batman. He's broken, bro.
he's in a hangar. There was a hangar.
No,
Yeah, but
the glass was smashed. It was space. Like he was.
But there was a hanger there that it's got a force field on the outside of it.
It does
Yeah.
because he looked like he was floating in space.
But no, Vader had him levitated with the force.
yeah, yeah.
Am I high or something? Or was he not floating in
Yeah.
space?
He,
No, he had
he
him. Go ahead,
yeah, he
Jay.
was holding with the force.
Yeah,
He was
That's pretty.
holding Batman with the Force
Yeah,
yes.
they can do that.
so that he could breathe.
No,
Breathe.
he
He was in the
wasn't
hangar.
floating. You said he was floating, but he wasn't floating. It was because Darth Vader was using the Force on him, which had him up in the air.
Okay, and then so the glass was smashed behind him.
Yeah,
But
but
that was in
the
a
goal.
hangar, though.
Yeah,
Oh, that was in a hangar. So he shot the missiles from the hangar,
yeah.
Yes,
from the aircraft hangar. Oh,
yes,
right, I see.
yes.
Because that was really confusing to me. So how did he survive the explosion?
Who?
Batman.
He's Batman.
Oh, that. Yeah, exactly. Because when Darth Vader blew up the ship, he should have been dead. But
Exactly. He's so broken, dude. He can do fucking anything. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
The
that's your
only person
DC.
more broken than him is fucking Iron Man, bro.
That's your DC shit. That's what
No,
DC does.
Iron Man
But,
makes him look like fucking.
but,
Come on, bro.
but everybody
Iron Man
says
is worse.
DC has the best characters. DC has the best characters, my ass.
Nah, yeah, Batman's way better than Darth Vader.
Hmm. Anyways, guys, I'm out,
Anyway,
buddy.
I'm out as well. Peace, guys. Thanks for joining us. 160 man. Thanks for the comments. And yeah, The Rock is awesome, and he's better than Cody Rhodes, and deserved the match more than Cody Rhodes.
And I
Yep.
still think Rock is going to main event WrestleMania.
Good, good, because he deserves it, and I hope he takes over from that bum Triple H as well. Um,
Facts.
I bet you any money within a year, the show will actually be good enough that I would start watching it again, or other people who, had fallen off wrestling will start watching it again, because he would actually push real stars, not Cody Rhodes and all of this bull. I'm sorry, those guys aren't stars. They haven't got the potential. They've got the potential to be mid-carders. They shouldn't be at the top of the fucking, you know, main eventing anything.
I would go into the history of why Cody is a main event star, but I'm not going to do it here tonight. It'll take too
Okay,
long.
so we'll do that next time, but like a quick response, just a tiny response. So you don't agree? You think Cody is deserving of a main event spot?
I think after what he did, like Vince put him in a mid card. He said, "No, you're not marketable." So he made him into a Goldust character, Stardust, and Cody hated it. He left. He went to Japan. He got the fans on his side. Came back to America. Helped start AEW, the biggest wrestling promotion to rival
So
WWE since WCW. They were huge, right? But because he was executive vice president, he said he wasn't going to fight for their world title, which came round and bit him in the butt because the fans turned on him. Came back to WWE, they popped massively when he returned to WrestleMania 2 years ago, and Vince personally flew to his house and offered him a huge contract because he saw that he had potential.
Yeah.
And he never does that. He never flies to somebody's house. That was
yeah,
how
all right.
much.
It's called nepotism, dude. It's
Well,
called nepotism. He's
no, no,
he's the son of a big fucking wrestler and
it's Dusty.
whatever, and they're giving him chances. It's not.
But
I
Vince,
get it. He's not a bad wrestler. Sorry. Go on if you want it. I just was
Vince,
answering to what you were
Vince,
saying.
Vince respected Dusty, but he also kind of disliked Dusty because he was the rival booker at WCW. And Virgil, the character Virgil, with the $1 Million Man, he named that character Virgil because he didn't really like Dusty. So he's
Sure.
he's
I,
had a love-hate
I,
relationship with Dusty.
I'm not saying.
I need
Yeah.
to correct you because earlier you said AEW was around when?
No, ECW.
Oh, now you're saying ECW.
ECW.
You were saying
And I didn't say AEW. I said ECW, bro.
You said AEW.
People can go back and check. I said ECW. Anyway, just to finish, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying it's fine that he's been put in the mainstream, or sorry, he's been put where he is. I don't dislike Cody Rhodes. I'm just saying he hasn't got an it factor in terms his it factor is based on things that I don't think are going to make an impact on the mainstream.
Well,
Like
you're not if you haven't been watching wrestling, I get that. Because like I said earlier, The Rock brings people casuals into WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes isn't. People don't know who Cody Rhodes is unless they follow wrestling. So
right, I just and I don't think he has the potential to do what someone like The Rock or Stone Cold or Hulk Hogan did. I just don't. I don't even think he's got it like Rowdy Piper, let alone fucking Hulk Hogan or Macho Man and like Kurt Angle, as great as he was, couldn't do what someone like The Rock or Stone Cold could do. Like it's not a diss on him or anything like that. I'm just saying there's a special elite of wrestlers, Ric Flairs and stuff like that, who you just watch them and they jump out of the TV at you. Cody Rhodes doesn't jump out of a screen at me. He's just there. And I think they need to find stars like that. And unfortunately, Triple H is jealous of stars like that. He don't like pushing people like that. He don't like pushing people who can take it to the next level, because he feels like he should have been that guy instead of Stone Cold and The Rock when he didn't have it like Stone Cold and The Rock.
There were guys that he was pushing in NXT during the last 10 years that, like Aleister Black, before Vince screwed up his main event when he debuted.
So if I look up Aleister Black, he's going to be someone who would pop out the screen at me for me, like Macho Man or something.
He had like an Undertaker like aura about him. He was a Nordic type wrestler, kickboxer like wrestler. He had like Undertaker type vibe. You had big guys like.
Could he cut a promo? Could he have been face of a company? Is what I'm trying to get at.
I think he could have been used in an Undertaker like role. I don't think he could have cut a promo per se, but he had an Undertaker like vibe.
Sure, Miss.
Sorry, because you're spitting bars. Dude, even these guys, what's it called? There's guys in AEW who are doing this rap gimmick now. I think they do it better than John Cena.
Maybe they do, but that's
different. I was talking about something different.
That's the only time we talked about AEW.
Yeah, exactly. When I was talking about those guys who do the scissors gimmick.
Anyways, I'm Maudie. I gotta go to bed, guys.
I love the way you try and pull. Anyway, all right, yeah, me too. Peace, guys. We'll finish this discussion, Shifty, on on Unzo's stream. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, yeah. All right, no worries, Shifty. Nice to have you.
Just that you know, tomorrow is Super Bowl, so anytime after 6 p.m. EST, I ain't doing shit.
Well, bro, I'm going to work tomorrow, so
we can do this next week.
No, we could do it later on today, but like I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it tomorrow. Yeah. All right. I'll let you get some sleep, and then we can go for it. All right. All right. Peace, man. Later on. Bye. End stream. Bye.